28 straight loss times the Philadelphia 76ers.
The concern level has been pretty high. I think we got to get used to it and get past it.
The Pistons set an NBA record in their last game of 28 straight losses and are on the journey to becoming the worst NBA team of all time. Shocking because of the amount of former top 10 picks on the roster that should make them at least competitive in the NBA, certainly not looking like a G League team could be competitive against them. They also have a former Coach of the Year in his first year with the team in Monty Williams and a borderline All-Star in Cade Cunningham, who likely won't see an All-Star because of the play of his team. This is certainly not the growth this once storied franchise hoped would be back in the 90s when they were the poster boys for playing every game like their last and ready to compete against anyone that earned them the name the Bad Boy Pistons, winning 2 championships back-to-back and setting the tone for hard-nosed basketball. Fast forward to the 2000s and the Pistons were competitive once again, appearing in 6 straight conference finals and back-to-back NBA finals, winning it all, defeating the Lakers in 2004, still playing hard-nosed defense and still the pillar of team over everything. But ever since that era, the Pistons sadly in recent years have been known as a place where careers go to die or players go to rejuvenate their stats in hopes of landing on a different team in the near future. Many players see Detroit as an off night in the NBA, as there's no longer that aura of one thing's for sure, we're gonna play harder than you, we're gonna defend, and we're gonna compete no matter who we face. 27 losses seem to say we're a team content with being stomped out every night, and our arrogant coach won't change much as he allows us to continue getting stomped out like Craig did Debo. Killian Hayes, my guy, 21 starts? We'll get back to him in a second. With the assets this team has as far as former lottery talent, a former Coach of the Year given a 6-year $78 million deal, and one of the best upcoming players in the league in Cunningham, in no way should the Pistons be on pace to become the worst team in the history of the league. They haven't won a game since October 28th, their third of the season, and looking at their schedule and results, the L's will continue to rack up over the next few weeks and may end when they face the second worst team in the league, the San Antonio Spurs, who've won 2 more games than the Pistons. With a team this bad, there's so many reasons to blame, but these 3 I think are the biggest and mean the most going forward. What happened? How'd the Pistons become this bad? Let's talk about it. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it. Take a minute to like, subscribe, and comment on who I should do next. Stunt number 1, Monty Williams. Monty Williams said when asked about the Pistons' horrid play this season, he was brought in to change things and it hasn't happened, so most of the blame should be placed on him, and I have no problem with that. Williams has done a horrible job managing this team by playing favorites and developing personal grudges against his own players like he did with DeAndre Ayton in Phoenix. Ever since then, I knew he wouldn't be a good coach going forward in the league. His arrogance is telling once again, starting Killian Hayes 21 of his 25 games played, and the only reason he hasn't started all of them is because he was returning from minor injuries. His reasoning for playing Hayes over Jaden Ivey, who's clearly the better player, is because defensively he likes Killian more and feels Ivey needs to get better on that end. To prove his point, he's left Ivey on the bench many games in favor of Hayes, who, if you ask me at this point, is not an NBA caliber talent.
I don't know why he played. Never mind. Killian Hayes can't. He's not an NBA starter.
Certainly not an NBA starter, and on any other team would have been sent to the G League multiple times over his career. He's not a bad on-ball defender, but he's no Drew Holiday either, and in no way should be playing in front of Ivey, seeing as Ivey had an outstanding rookie year where he averaged over 16 points and 5 assists, almost identical numbers as Derrick Rose when he won Rookie of the Year, and started almost every game he played in last season under Dwayne Casey. In his second year, he would have more than likely exploded, as he's easily better next to Cade Cunningham and seen as a threat to defenses, not like they view Killian. With Killian, defenses continuously go under screens unpunished because Hayes continues to be one of the worst guards in the league shooting the 3. This season is his first at least hitting the 30% mark, and who knows, it'll probably dip below that by season's end. Monty's switch everything defense strategy also seems like a huge issue when you have guys like Isaiah Stewart and Bojan switched onto offensive guys that use them any way they want to. It also puts those guys out of good rebounding position, which is why the Pistons are top 10 worst in the league in that area. Not only are the rotations poor, but the defense and offensive strategies are as well, which is why some of the Pistons' best shooters play the least amount of minutes. Guys like Marcus Sasser, who shoots over 40% from 3 and just may be one of their best guards, only plays 16 minutes per game. Kevin Knox is shooting 43% and plays even less. Monty Williams has been known to play, quote, his guys, and if you aren't one of them for any reason, you'll find your way on the bench and the team will lose and lose and lose before Williams changes his mind. A dictator coach that publicly holds grudges is not what this team needs. Simply put, Monty Williams was the worst coach for this job a year ago and going forward. In my opinion, they won't be better until he's gone. Stunt number 2, shooting. The Pistons this season have been one of the worst shooting teams in the league. Dead last in attempts, last in makes, and second to last in a close race with the Memphis Grizzlies in percentage, who were missing their key playmaker Ja Morant all year. None of the Pistons guards that play significant minutes shoot at least 35% from 3. Not Cade, not Ivy, and certainly not Killian Hayes. Their top 3 shooters all play 16 minutes or less per game, making them one-dimensional, only able to score off drives to the rim or whatever Cade can create. Add to horrendous shooting, the team is second to last in the league in most turnovers per game, not allowing them to get good shots at the rim or a rhythm to make a solid percentage. They're also one of the worst in field goal percentage in the league. Guys like Alec Burks, a Monty Williams guy, playing 18 minutes per game as one of the worst in the league from the field at 32%. He literally doesn't add anything to the team, yet is a staple in the rotation. Speaking of one of the worst, again, Killian Hayes, a full-time starter, shoots 42% from the field, 30% from 3, barely 70% from the foul line, and is highly non-aggressive, averaging 9 points a game in his 4th year, and yet once again, he still plays more than Ivy or Sasser, who both can help this Pistons team in ways Killian just isn't able to. Blame Monty's offensive strategy once again, or blame the players for not stepping up and making the defense pay. The fact is, the Pistons desperately need to be a better team shooting-wise, or this season will end with them as the record setter for worst team ever. Stunt number 3, player development. A main reason the Pistons are as bad as they are this season is because some of their key players haven't developed into what they were expected to by this point. The amount of lottery picks this team has on the roster is supposed to amount to a competitive team at least more than 2 wins on the season. But guys like James Wiseman, Marvin Bagley, Kevin Knox, and again Killian Hayes, even their rookie this year, Azur Thompson, is starting to decline after his record-setting start to the season. Bagley and Wiseman, former 2nd overall picks, expected to be generational talents coming into the NBA, drafted by the Kings and Warriors, have both been busts, now in his 6th year for Bagley and 4th for Wiseman. Kevin Knox, who was the 9th overall pick in 2018, is on his 4th NBA team and 2nd go-round with the Pistons, still can't consistently find his way into a team's rotation, and rightfully so, seeing as since his rookie year, he's been atrocious in his production for whatever reason. Mainly, he doesn't have the right temperament to capitalize on his potential. Same could be said about Bagley, Wiseman, and Hayes. All guys who seem soft and non-aggressive at heart, guys that never had to rely on toughness throughout their lives, always cater to because of their basketball skills. That softness is rubbing off on the team, as gone is the identity the Pistons created back in the 90s or 2000s. Azur Thompson, their shining light, has fallen off a cliff as well, failing to score at least 10 points in the last 6 games, and so has his shooting. He's averaging 16% on the year from 3, a number I don't think will greatly improve in the near future, and one that puts the team this year at a disadvantage because you have to play him for everything else he does positively. He's also a poor free throw shooter and has the same temperament as the rest of the bus on the Pistons roster. Basically, the team is filled with underachievers except for Cade, Jaden, Sasser, and Bojan, and aren't built nor led by the right coach to be a good team. All in all, the Pistons aren't who we remember them to be because of these reasons, and if it doesn't turn around soon, expect a haul of changes before next season that should start with a better fitted coach than Monty Williams, who's a poor choice to lead and develop young talent. They also need to get rid of Killian Hayes and the other underachievers that came to Detroit as a rest haven for busts like Knox, Bagley, and Wiseman. If they couldn't lock in Detroit, it's probably over for them, period, potential-wise. Salute, much respect, but for these reasons, the Pistons' growth is being stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.